Hello and welcome to Rick's Garage. So today I am doing a DIY refurb on a diamond cut alloy wheel. This is my first time, so it should be fun. Stay tuned. So welcome back. If this is your first time at the channel, thank you very much for tuning in. Please do consider giving me a like and subscribing. There is going to be plenty of videos just like this one. So as aforementioned, what I'm doing today is doing a full DIY refurb on a diamond cut alloy wheel. Now this is my first time, as I already say. I've never done one before. I've refurbed plenty of regular painted alloy wheels but never a diamond cut, so this is as much of a learning curve for me as it's going to be for you guys. It may or may not be successful, so we shall see how we go. Now before I begin, I just want to mention that these wheels in particular, which you'll see at the moment, they are like a mirrored diamond cut, very blingy. It isn't necessarily my cup of tea, so at the same time as doing this refurb, I'm looking to change the finish to more of a brushed aluminium satin kind of look. That's just a personal preference, but I shall explain more at the end. So without further ado, let's get stuck straight into it. So as you can see, this wheel is what they call a diamond cut finish. Now as you can see, it's got quite a lot of corrosion underneath the lacquer on top of the aluminium. Very common thing to happen on these diamond cut finish wheels. It looks an absolute mess, I'm sure you'll agree. Now this wheel in particular is 18 inch. It comes from a Kia Sportage. What I'm going to do is basically scuff everything up. Absolutely everything, especially the black painted bits. I'm going to use a grey Scotch pad for that. Reason being is the lacquer should cover up the sand marks from the grey Scotch. It's not overly abrasive, because obviously at the end I want to lacquer over the entire thing, and rubbing it down with the Scotch gives it a good key for the lacquer to cling onto. Once I've done that, what I'll be doing is putting a sanding disc and sanding back the lacquer and getting rid of all this corrosion. I'll be starting off with, I think, a 180 grit sandpaper on a polisher. Now obviously I would like to use a rotary buffer on this, which just rotates one movement, but I don't have one of those. I only have a dual action polisher, which is one of these. Now obviously these oscillate as well as rotate. It's not ideal, but that is the only thing I've got, so I'm going to give it a go with that, see how I get on. So yeah, first of all I'm going to hit it with 180 grit, then I'm going to go with maybe a 320 grit and then a 500 grit. So yeah, I'm going to work up and refine the metal with a smoother sandpaper as we go along, just to bring back that finish. And then once we've done all that, I'm going to lacquer over the entire thing again. So yeah, just roughly that is what I'm going to be doing today. So yeah, once again, first things first, I'm going to rub all of this down with grey Scotch. That is looking a lot better now. Got rid of all the corrosion. That is 2 spokes done. Now what I need to do is the rest of the wheel. Once I finish that first stage, I then need to go to a finer grade sandpaper and refine this nice burr aluminium and start to get a little bit of shine back. So let's go. Okay, so that is the first stage complete. Now, as you can see, the finish is very, very rough. That's because the 180 grit is, well, it's very coarse, to be honest. But the lacquer is stripped back, the corrosion has been removed. As you can see, the hardest part is getting, you know, the pattern right, if you understand what I mean. But that will come in the later stages, I hope. But yeah, it's looking a lot better than it did before already, and now we're moving on to the next stage, which is 320 grit, just to start refining this aluminium. Okay, so that's the second stage done. I'm just starting to get the pattern a little bit better now. It's improving steadily. Now, you know, the finish that I'm getting on this is what I want, the diamond turned effect. But I've got one more stage to go, which is a 500 grit, just to refine it even further. So yeah, it's looking okay. Now there is one final stage that I'm going to do before it gets lacquered and cleaned, is go over it with some scotch actually on the buffer, just to get a final finish in there that I would be happy with. But yeah, it's not looking too bad. It's a lot better than it was before. It's something that I can live with. So yeah, let's carry on.
So there you go, guys. Would you look at that? Wow. Sometimes I surprise myself. You know, it's not absolutely perfect. There's one little bit there which I didn't, you know, sand quite enough with the coarse sandpaper, but that is it. Overall, very, very, very pleased with that. Made up, to be honest. What I need to do now is give it a good clean up. I need to mask the tyre off, and then I'll give it a coat of lacquer. So that's what I'm going to do now. Now, before you use your clear lacquer, guys, just a quick thing I want to share with my experience with the lacquer. Set it in some hot water first for about 5 minutes. That will help it bond to your piece much nicer. It'll go on much more evenly, and it'll stop it collecting, and it'll stop it going yellow as well. Anybody ever sprayed lacquer and seen it collecting and going yellow and not quite right? This is the reason why you're using it cold. Heat it up first. It makes a massive difference.
So there you go, guys and girls. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'm very pleased how they turned out. Really love the finish. Now, the reason why I wanted a satin look is simply because, you know, I'm actually a fan of regular, nice, bright silver alloy wheels, and this satin look, it kind of gives the illusion of a silver wheel as well as the black, whilst at the same time still being a diamond cut, if you understand what I mean. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this finish. Now, the only thing is I've got to carry on this with the other 3 wheels, but that will be done in good time. But yeah, I'm very pleased with this. Now, for those of you who want to achieve the factory finish of a very high mirrored gloss shine, that is perfectly achievable. All you've got to do is keep refining that aluminium finish. Maybe go from a 500 grits to an 800 onto a 1200, then a 1500, 2000, maybe even a 3000, followed by some metal polish, and that is very perfectly achievable. I haven't done it on alloy wheels, but I've done it in metal polishing before. It works an absolute treat. So yeah, keep refining that down, keep working up through the grades, getting finer and finer, and that shine will come back through if that is your thing. So yeah, there you go. As always, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. As I say, please do consider giving me a like. Please do subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'd really appreciate that. As always, thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.